I want to share with you my 12-step YouTube video production checklist so that you can ultimately create your best videos. Before the shoot day, it's nice to lay everything out and make sure that you have all of the necessary gear. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. The best content creators on YouTube research before they press record. I've made a lot of mistakes over the years and had a lot of frustrating moments in my career as a content creator, but this is one of the things I wish I knew when I was starting. I love checklists. I've learned that it's better to have a short pencil than a long memory. I don't know about you, but when I'm filming my YouTube videos, there's been so many times when I've forgotten to mention something in the video, when I forgot to set something up right, when I showed up to a shoot and I forgot to charge the batteries. So in this episode of the Think Media podcast, I want to share with you my 12-step YouTube video production checklist so that you can have less stress on your next shoot and make sure you don't forget anything and ultimately create your best videos. Today's episode is brought to you by TubeStarterKit.com. We have a cool sale happening right now on one of our coolest bundles of digital assets for helping you with your YouTube channel. So you can check that in the show notes, and I will tell you a little bit more about that later. But let's get into the 12-step checklist. Number one, schedule time on your calendar for when you're going to shoot your video. I've learned this: what gets scheduled gets done. And so one of the most powerful things you can do in preparation for a shoot is actually plan it. Now, this is actually part 4 of our YouTube productivity series. And in part 1, we talked about batch shooting. And so this checklist will certainly help you shoot one video, but I love to use this for shooting multiple videos at one time. You can check out the show notes for a link to the past episodes where we talk more about that. But when I'm using this checklist, my goal is to actually go into a shoot day where I'm going to shoot 1, 2, 3, 4 videos all at once. And so it's really important to, number one, schedule that and plan for that and make sure it's on your calendar. Number 2, research your videos ahead of time. We've all heard the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. The best content creators on YouTube research before they press record. Now, this is different than actually outlining your video. This is time spent analyzing competitors, doing keyword research, topic research, actually coming up with the best video ideas possible so that you're using your video shoot day effectively with the best kind of content that's going to get the most views. Once you have identified some strong video ideas and strong video topics, step number 3 is to outline the content of your videos. Now, when I say outline, I don't necessarily mean script. However, it is definitely okay to script out your videos and perhaps use a teleprompter. Personally, an outline for me is exactly what I'm using right now, and it's a list of the 12 points and details and bullets of what I actually want to say. And then using my outline, I kind of extemporaneously communicate around the information. The helpful thing, though, is I'm actually batch producing videos right now on a shoot day. Pretty meta, because I'm actually using these very principles and tips that I'm sharing with you today. And so the way I can stay structured to make sure that the information is actually delivered clearly and that it's as helpful as possible to you is because I'm working off an outline. I use Google Docs, which is free to use, where I've outlined these videos. And I also highly recommend following the perfect video recipe. We won't go into that today, but I will link to a free podcast series on the perfect video recipe in the show notes. Number 4, prepare your gear. Before the shoot day, make sure you charge your camera batteries, lay out any gear you're going to use so there are no surprises when it's time to record. Have you ever lost something around your house? Maybe you lost your keys, maybe you lost your wallet, and it's super stressful, especially when you're late trying to get somewhere. Well, this is even more of an issue when it comes to creating video content. Over the years, as I was shooting videos, especially as a solo creator, I would oftentimes wonder, where actually is the battery? Where is that power cable? Where is that lens or that lens cap? Where is that microphone? Where is the cable for the microphone? And as you collect gear and build out your YouTube studio, there can be a lot of little pieces or little details that are critical to your shoot. This is also true if you ever travel and you try to pack your gear into a suitcase or a backpack. There's nothing more frustrating than getting to a shoot and you're missing a critical piece to the setup. This is why before the shoot day, it's nice to lay everything out and make sure that you have all of the necessary gear for when it's time to record. Number 5, select a location. If your life is chaotic like mine, then you know that it can be hard to find a time and place where there's not screaming kids in the background, noise, yard work. Isn't it true that whenever you're about to film a video, the neighbor starts to mow his lawn or use his high-powered gas leaf blower with just crazy noise when it's time to shoot? Seems to be Murphy's Law. And so you want to ultimately think ahead about how to create an environment with minimal background noise that's ideal for shooting videos. One of the big questions people ask me is, Sean, there's no clean areas in my house. There's no real areas without clutter. And one of the things you could do is prepare almost like a photo backdrop. These can be very affordable off of Amazon, and you could get a paper backdrop or you can get a cloth photo backdrop. Interestingly enough, if you're watching the video version of the Think Media podcast, behind me is a fake wall. It's actually a paper wall. We're in the loft of Kyle Anderson's Anderson Studios. And so you could do a lot by using maybe some simple things that are purchasable on a website like Amazon or a local photography store. But the point is, think ahead about making sure the location is right. Get your gear right, think about the location, and maybe think about the time of day when you could send the kids to the babysitter or have mom take them, or maybe your house is chaotic and noisy. Could you actually shoot somewhere else? Could you swap houses and shoot in the unused basement that mom and dad aren't using, or a friend, or whatever? Number 5, select a location. Now, number 6 is prepare your wardrobe and any other visuals or props. I like to shoot multiple videos at one time and then release them over successive weeks. And so I will prepare shirt and outfit changes and hat changes just because that's part of my personality. But a disclaimer here that some people wonder is, do I have to change my shirt? And the answer is no. The truth is, people don't really know on YouTube if you're wearing the same shirt in every video. Some creators wear the same black t-shirt in every video. But I know that other creators like Dr. Andrea Furlan, she mentioned she gets her hair done before her batch shoot days and even goes shopping to buy some outfits. It's part of her personality. It's something that she wants to do. The key is, whatever your vision is for the brand and look and visual variety of your videos, preparation goes a long way. I grabbed a couple different outfits for today's shoot, and I actually pulled out a steamer so that I could get the wrinkles out so that I wasn't rushed going into today's batch. But the other piece is even more important, and that is make sure to grab any visuals and props that you may want to use in your video. Some of our community likes to teach content from a whiteboard, and they want to use maybe a paper whiteboard or a traditional whiteboard, and you want to make sure that your pens aren't out of ink, right? Have you been using that Sharpie, or you probably shouldn't use a Sharpie on a whiteboard, but you're using the dry erase marker and like it's out of dry erase ink, if that's what it's called, or it's not, the tip isn't very thick, and so you're trying to, it's like not even showing up on camera. Thinking ahead about what are people going to see, what do you want to prepare, what do you want to get ready? For example, if you were going to be doing a book review, it's great to maybe get the book in hand. And I know for me, if I'm rushed and I'm looking for one book in my house, I'm probably not going to find it. Like, I need to do that ahead of time, make sure that I set it out, set it to the side. Or if you have any other props in your videos, which is kind of a separate tip. One of the ways to charge up the visual experience of your video is think about what props could you have? Is there any visuals that would enhance the content? Which brings us to number 7. Get a good night's sleep and be purposeful with your morning routine. Now, if you're just going to create one video, this might not be as important. But if you have the audacity to try to shoot 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos all in one batch, then being as well rested, as energized, having as much mental clarity, all of the above is very important. And so as you look ahead, be thoughtful about what you're doing the night before your shoot day. Now, all of this preparation has led up to the actual shoot. Your camera is set up, you're ready to go, your microphone's plugged in. And so number 8 is record and do a test video clip so that you can review the audio and the look of the shot. I've made a lot of mistakes over the years and had a lot of frustrating moments in my career as a content creator, but this is one of the things I wish I knew when I was starting. There's actually been times when I have shot multiple videos. I hit record on my camera. I knew I had 3 videos to shoot. I shot all 3 videos all in one sitting, and I realized that my microphone battery was dead or my microphone wasn't on. All I had was video with no audio, and the footage was completely unusable. There's been other times when I quickly review the video on the small LCD screen on my camera or my phone, only to later look on it on a full-size monitor and realize my collar is flipped up and realize there's like a stain on my shirt because I wasn't really able to analyze the look of the footage. I've left dirty towels on the background. I've had crooked pictures on the wall because, again, I didn't just take the time to analyze the video and the audio. Also, audio could have background noise, there could be a hiss, there could be different things that could be fixable. There's a joke among editors that says fix it in post. Your goal is to not fix it in post. Your goal is to perhaps adjust the lighting. Maybe shadows are weird. Maybe there's some weird reflection on a glass painting behind you, a glass artwork, and you just move the light around, maybe the way the light's reflecting in your actual physical glasses on your face. These things are fixable. We have a channel called Think Media with many tips in this area, but the key, and this tip will save you a lot of pain and a lot of time, is sit down, start your shoot, do just an opening clip, 10, 20, 30 seconds, talk at your normal voice, deliver just a few moments of content, and then take out that SD card, or if possible, plug your phone into your bigger laptop and try to review the footage, ideally on a larger computer screen in a quiet environment or with some headphones so you can hear, how does it sound? How does it look? Is your collar flipped up? Is the white balance really weird? Is there a distracting object in the background? Because it's really nice to especially get things right before you shoot multiple videos in a row. Number 9 is shoot your video. All of the preparation has led up to this point, so it's time to hit record and own it. Number 10, shoot any B-roll that you need for your video. And so what is the difference between A-roll and B-roll? Well, if you're doing a talking head video, delivering information, working off of your outline or your script, you on camera and your audio delivering that information, that is the A-roll. And the reason that you may call it that is in a video editing timeline, that's like the first layer of content. Well, we've all seen from watching film or watching YouTube videos that while somebody is delivering some information, it may even just be a voiceover, there's all these other clips and there's all these other things showing up on screen that is kind of showing what they're talking about. If I was reviewing a product right now, maybe talking about a camera, I could just sit here holding the camera with the one shot, or I could also add extra clips zoomed in, showing different angles, even using different lenses. And so all of that extra footage is B-roll. So it's nice to have this as part of your checklist because once your video is over, ask yourself, is there any B-roll that I want to shoot? Any extra footage, any extra clips, any transition scenes? Is there anything I could shoot that would support the main content? Remember, if you begin editing and find out that you need some footage, it's very frustrating. So you want to ask yourself while you're shooting, is there any other maybe intros or outros or things I missed or supplemental footage that I just want to make sure I have captured? Here's the cool thing. You don't actually have to use it, but I'll tell you this. If you're sitting in your boxers in the middle of night when there's no daylight anymore and it's hours after your shoot and you're doing the edit and then you go, shoot, I forgot this scene. You're gonna be really frustrated because it may be almost impossible to recreate what you need in that moment. And so I always love having extra footage if necessary, or just taking some time to have the B-roll that can be helpful in the edit. As you know, the thumbnail is one of the most important parts of a YouTube video, but a lot of us find ourselves getting to the edit and then thinking, oh shoot, I needed to get a thumbnail. And so we scrub through our video editor timeline looking for a moment where our face is not contorted or distorted that would actually be exportable and then be able to be turned into a thumbnail. And ultimately, that's one way of doing it. But again, having a checklist, because it's better to have a short pencil than a long memory that just reminds you, okay, let me set a timer on my phone or a timer on my camera and take a few still shots that I could use for my thumbnail. Even better, maybe you want to step into a different room, a different environment. We used to shoot a lot of thumbnails in front of my garage door because it was the most minimalist kind of door in my house, and I had the daylight of being outside, typically in the shade. I want to say that there was probably 2-3 years of 99% of Think Media's thumbnails was in front of my garage door. And the key was if I was talking about a camera, that was the item in the video, that was the visual, or oftentimes thumbnails don't have me in them. And so is the thumbnail about just a piece of tech or some kind of product? Do you need to do some product photography that could be used in your thumbnail? Number 12, review and transfer your video footage. Now, this is one of those steps that if you miss it, it can actually cause a lot of stress and frustration. So the goal here is to set yourself up for success when it comes to video editing. And so this looks like putting the SD cards in a safe and well-organized place. Oftentimes I've maybe filmed, sometimes on a couple cameras or just one camera, and I took the SD card out of the camera. Where is it? Where did it go? Maybe you're not sure which SD card you're using. Are you going to format it? Meaning, are you going to delete the footage on there? Well, have you captured it yet? And if you don't do it while it's fresh, oftentimes if time passes, you could be frustrated finding that original footage. So the basic step of this, I like to put a sticky note on my desk, write on the sticky note which videos were shot, what is on that SD card, and then I set that SD card on top of the sticky note. The problem with that strategy is if you have a 2-year and 8-month-old boy wandering around your house, destroying your property and sabotaging your belongings, even that very plan could be flawed as that SD card disappears forever. So even better is to actually capture the footage. And so in this case, you're done with your shoot, you're exhausted, you want to just forget about shooting and relax and then come to editing later. Go the extra mile and actually sit down at your computer or your laptop and transfer the footage from your SD card to your computer. If you're shooting on your phone, transfer the footage from your phone to your laptop or to your computer, unless of course you're going to be editing on that very same phone. Now, a big key here is to label and organize the content intelligently so that you can ultimately find it later. If you had a multi-camera shoot, you may have camera A, camera B, that's 2 different folders. You may have the photo files, the image files that are put into a thumbnail folder. So I'm speaking from my solo creator days when I would be batch producing videos, doing everything all by myself. After I would shoot the videos, I would sit down on my computer, I would open up a file folder. I had it backed up on Dropbox, paying for a Dropbox business account, and I would have the A-roll or all the main footage. I'd have the thumbnails in a separate folder. And at that moment, I might actually take a break. I may come back to it later. I may not edit at that exact moment, but I was always thankful that I reviewed and transferred the footage when it was all fresh. And actually, kind of a bonus tip around number 12 comes from Tony Ariola. He's actually a former Think Media team member. He's now working for the XFL and making different documentary films. And his tip is actually sitting down and doing the first raw edit of your footage right after you shoot. Maybe you're not gonna add all the B-roll in, you're not gonna add in any extra fancy transitions or anything, but he likes to get the footage actually on the timeline, edit the A-roll, meaning the main portion of content all the way through, to see if there's continuity there, to see if you hit the hook good, you made the points in the middle good, you actually just have the raw materials. Because if it reveals something, you're like, man, I wish I would have said that, or I should transition this here, or I should add this part here, you still have the opportunity to do that because you're still in the shoot mode. You got your camera set up, you got the wardrobe, you got it all going, and therefore you can add any supplemental footage if necessary. Take a deep breath. I know that these 12 steps in and of themselves may have sounded like a lot, but as you begin to master this skill of content creation and use this checklist, you're gonna have less stress on your brain for making sure you hit all the points so that you can have more energy and more excellence in actually shooting and creating your content so you can add massive value to the viewers and community that you are impacting. Now, today's episode is brought to you by TubeStarterKit.com. If you found this checklist super valuable and you want to print it out so that you can reference it and check out a lot of other cool things in this digital asset bundle, just go to tubestarterkit.com. It's on sale right now for a crazy good price, and you're gonna love what is inside of the YouTube Starter Kit. It actually has our 51 money-making video ideas guide, our 51 video ideas to jumpstart your channel, our 15 best YouTube title formulas for getting views, our YouTube Clarity Blueprint, which is a multi-page PDF download that'll walk you through getting clear on your YouTube strategy, on your target audience. We have thumbnail templates that you can plug into Canva, our video description template, and our Create Awesome Videos checklist. There's so much cool stuff in there, and we actually just updated it. The value of all these resources separately is over $600, but we have it on sale right now for Think Media Podcast listeners. So if you want to just get more videos done in less time, you want access to some cool downloadables and tools that'll just help you go faster and reduce the stress of creating content, you're gonna love the starter kit. So tubestarterkit.com is where you can check that out, or just look at the show notes of the podcast. Now, if you found this content valuable, it would mean the world to me if you rate, like, and review the podcast wherever you watch or listen. And remember, this is actually part 4 of our YouTube productivity series. And so if you're just checking this episode out and you want to check out part 1, 2, and 3, where we talk about batch producing content, how to take one piece of content and turn it into multiple viral videos, our best AI tools, a lot of helpful content that's going to help you go faster, help your YouTube production workflow. Check out the playlist on YouTube. We'll link that in the show notes, or you can go back in the library on the audio podcast. I think you're going to love the other episodes in this series that you may have missed, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.